Hey there. I wanted to take a few minutes to go over the COVID amendment related to the listing contract. So this is the only one that I'm aware of that's related to a listing contract. This, if it's not already filled out for an existing listing, it needs to be. And any new listings that you take, it definitely needs to be done. So here we go. The COVID-19 Addendum Amendment to the listing contract. By the way, Sean has put a separate COVID folder in Dotloop. So the COVID forms are all there for you, so they should be easy for you to find. Okay, so this is today's date. This is the date of the listing contract. Could be today's date. If it's a listing that you've had for a little bit, it'll be that date. The township, the county, the city, state, and the zip code. And so here's what we're going to talk about here. The following provisions supersede any conflicting language in the listing contract. So anything in the listing contract that conflicts with what's in this amendment, what's in the amendment is what applies. Anything in the listing contract that doesn't conflict with what's in this amendment stands as is. So here we go. The current worldwide COVID-19 pandemic has had unprecedented impacts on real estate transactions. Listing broker is seeking to determine the seller's intent to allow or continue to allow showing the property and for continued access to the property by those individuals or by those involved in the transaction process. So this covers, if you can follow my mouse here, continue or to allow showing. So it covers both contracts that exist today, but they don't have the amendment, and any new ones as well. So in consideration of the listing broker's continued willingness to market the property under the listing contract, the seller and broker agree to amend the listing contract as follows. Here we go. So the seller has to make a decision. Box number 1, or the first box here, the seller authorizes showings or continued showings of the property and agrees to allow access to the property by potential buyers, buyer's agents, inspectors, appraisers, contractors, and others as may be necessary to complete the sale and closing of the property. So the seller is saying, yes, I'm going to allow showings, and I'm going to let everybody who has anything to do with the contract or the closing of the property to enter the property under certain conditions. The seller agrees to inform the broker immediately if the seller or any person residing within or visiting the property is diagnosed with a confirmed case of COVID-19, or if the seller or any person residing within or visiting the property has had direct contact within the past 14 days with an individual with a confirmed case of COVID-19, irrespective of whether such party shows signs of sickness. So what the seller is saying in this section is that if someone in their household or someone who visits their home has been exposed to the COVID-19 virus, a confirmed case of the COVID-19 virus within the last 14 days, then they're obligated to let the listing agent know. That includes anybody who visits today or any time in the future while the property is listed. So make sure they understand that. So first box, they're going to allow showings and they're going to report to you if they are exposed to a confirmed case of the virus. Second box, seller elects to have the property noted in the listing service to indicate there will be no showings of the property until authorized by the seller. So in a situation where the seller says, I'm a little concerned about the COVID-19 virus, I don't want to be exposed to it. I don't want to expose anybody who might enter my house to it. So I don't want you to do any showings, even though we have a valid listing contract and you are going to continue to market the property. So this says that they're not going to allow the showings. You're going to continue to market the property. The contract is still valid and runs through whatever the expiration date is on the contract. One thing that I would do in this list, any other related changes if applicable, one would be seller acknowledges and understands that the property will now be shown in the multiple listing service as desired not to sell. That is a MLS requirement for us if we're not going to allow showings during the COVID-19 situation. You can also put in the marketing remarks if you want, certainly in the agent remarks, that the reason that they are not allowing showings at the moment is because of COVID-19, and that they will open it up once that situation has resolved itself. Okay, seller agrees to hold the listing brokerage and its agents and any buyer's brokerage and its agents harmless from any and all claims for damages arising out of or relating to COVID-19 concerns or the showing or inspection or availability of the property for showing or inspection during the COVID-19 pandemic. So this basically says seller can't come after us or anyone else related to the transaction as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. I understand that there's been a case brought against an agent in Kentucky or a brokerage in Kentucky where someone claims that they got the COVID-19 virus as a result of a showing. This would eliminate that situation for us altogether. All other terms and conditions of the original contract remain in full force and effect. Last, by signing or by signature below, the sellers acknowledge that they have read, understand, accept, and have received a signed copy of the amendment. This needs to be signed by you, the listing agent, by me, your managing broker, and by the sellers. We say that we're going to return them a signed copy of this, so we want to make sure that we return them a fully executed copy. So when you have one of these signed, as you do with the listing contract, send it to me via .loop so I can sign it for you right away. I do try to get to those as soon as I see them pop up in my email. That's it, guys. Be careful out there and have a good day.